Well, I think it was one of our doctors that we go to.
Our pediatrician recommended Dr. Kara Kelly, and he's been with us since all of my kids were born. And we immediately came here and were enveloped in this great hospital and staff, and that's really how we started here.
The lymph nodes on my neck were all swollen. I had these huge lumps on my neck, and my mom, my dad, and my grandma, they were all feeling them, like, what is this? And I had this terrible earache. It was like someone was stabbing me in the ear. It was terrible, and all of these things started happening. I was getting sick all the time. My stomach was distended. It was like, it looked like I was pregnant almost, and I was tired all the time, just with fatigue. It was terrible. And then I came to Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital and got my blood taken, and when the results came back, Dr. Kara Kelly, she told me my white blood cells were abnormal, and she told me I had ALL leukemia.
It's a little hard to talk about. The beginning was such a hard time. I have a lot of cancer in my family. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma myself. My sister died from leukemia. My mother died from leukemia. I always have that in my mind, but I never would have thought that one of my children would develop cancer. I think it doesn't matter if it's a daughter or a son. I think you're so afraid. You are petrified of losing your child. And Samantha and I had a very close relationship to begin with. I have 3 boys, so it's sometimes us against the boys in the house. And knowing that my daughter was sick and that so many women in my family had already been sick with cancer, including myself, I just didn't want that for her or any of my kids. But I particularly know how hard it can be for a girl to lose so much of yourself going through cancer. And hair sounds like a silly thing, and your looks come and go, but you know, she's young, and I knew it was going to be a long, very tough road for her. She was very active, very social, very physically strong, and I anticipated a really tough first year of her adapting and adjusting to being in a hospital bed and losing her friends and not being at school, losing her looks. It all weighed on me immediately. I knew as soon as she was diagnosed what was going to be happening, and I felt for her. But coming from my background, I at least had that survival instinct, and I knew that she has seen me go through being sick and recover. So I was hoping that that was a good thing for her, and that she had some hope and we had some hope together. Initially, meeting Dr. Kelly, there was no choice after that. There was no second guessing. There was no wondering if she could get better care somewhere. She was just the most warm, concerned, caring, intelligent, competent doctor that I've ever met. And meeting her initially was probably the best thing for Samantha, because it took all of that confusion and worry and fear about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and how are you going to get through this, and it just smoothed out all the wrinkles. So there was no choice about where to come once we met Dr. Kelly.
The doctors and nurses and child life specialists were great. They were my support group. They were my friends, my family. I got to be so close with all of them, and they were all so nice and so caring. I wasn't just some patient. I was an individual person that they cared about and wanted to learn about and just get to know. And that really touched me. That was amazing, and it just made getting through cancer treatment better.
They ask her questions. They find out what her likes and dislikes are. They distract her from the pain. And these are not easy things to do with kids who are suffering and in pain and not feeling well. It's very easy to walk away from that because it's so hard to deal with, but they're just so dedicated and good at what they do. They just know how to deal with kids. And I've always felt that peace when she gets treated, that I know Peggy's going to be there, and Linda's going to be there, and Jill's going to be there. All of these people who surround her with love and concern and this nurturing that I can't always be that person for her and take care of her physically. So it's been a huge, huge bonus to me to be at this hospital and to be surrounded by so many competent, intelligent, caring, truly wonderful people. I mean, it's the honest truth.
Some of my friends were curious, I think, but they were a little afraid to ask the questions because they thought it might offend me, or I might just get so emotional where like I wouldn't be able to answer the questions. But I'm really open to answering the questions, and once they figured that out that I was, they asked and they were more understanding. So they learned more about cancer and they got to understand more about what I was going through. So that made me more friends with them too.
There's so many different types of cancer out there, but I think there's a universal knowledge about cancer, and that is your child's going to get sick. You're going to have to watch them suffer. You're going to have to go through some really hard times. But if you do it as a family, if you're open and honest and you share that with them and let them know how much you care about them, it's okay to fall apart once in a while, but you get back up again. And that's been our theme, is we've gone through some rough times, but we always get back up again, and we always tell each other we love each other, and we just keep trying. I mean, life is about learning and going through hard things, but then there's brighter days ahead. And she's obviously in some bright days right now, and she's doing phenomenally. And that's always around the corner, no matter how bad it seems. There's always going to be a better day around the corner.